Okay. Are you sure? Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about succession planning, and I don't know if you want to kind of define even what that is. There might be some people that don't even know what that means.
Succession planning is the transition of usually a business onward to the next generation or to a new owner. A lot of times succession planning is defined as taking a business and somehow passing it to your heirs. And that's sometimes very, very difficult to do because sometimes the next generation is interested in taking over the business and sometimes not. Or one of your children might be interested and the other's not, and now you have an imbalance of how you can rightfully pass this on to an heir without harming the other siblings. And it takes a lot of thought, and you've got to get planning early.
Let's kind of list the different ways that you can transition your business when you're ready to move on. You have obviously family, as you mentioned.
Right. Well, I'd like to go back first to the way you run your business, because a lot of people are successful despite themselves, and they were lucky. Whether they will admit that or they won't, they were lucky. Good things happen, and it's a lot of times better to be lucky than to be good. But if the accounting records, if the management of the business, if the business is not sustainable, if it's depending upon you as a single owner but not your entire group of management, there's a good chance that that business is not going to succeed when it gets passed on to either your children or to a buyer. The key's got to become learning a long time before that the accounting has to be done correctly. The tax planning has to be done correctly. Investments need to be made. All investments do not necessarily have to be made within the business. Sometimes it's better to have the investments made outside of the business. You really don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And that's what a lot of small business owners do.
You think, is it too almost flippant to say like succession planning is almost something you should think about from the startup of the business, to have that in mind?
Well, yes, if in fact that business is your livelihood, and if you're going to spend 30 or 40 years in the business, you don't want to see it fail. You don't want to see it close its doors without some value being attained by your heirs. One of the most devastating, I think, things that can happen to a business is when the owner is ready to retire, that the doors close. You know, it was somebody's life, their whole family sacrificed in order to get that business up and running, and if there isn't a noticeable value that someone wants out of that business, if they can't recognize that there is some value for futures, then maybe you failed when you did that work, your livelihood, your lifetime.
Really showing value in what you're doing with the business, that's something that's going to help you all along. That you should be really understanding your numbers to know if the value's there and then what that perceived value would be for someone else, right?
Well, a lot of times a startup business, a new business, is more concerned about the amount of income tax they pay, not necessarily if in fact they're growing their business and they're making it worthwhile and they're making it a valuable asset for themselves and their families. Do other businesses, do your suppliers value you as a customer? Do your customers value in how you help their business? What does a banker think about your organization? When you need cash, is it available? All those things are necessary in order to make a credible business grow and grow and grow and last over the long term.
So how do you...
One little adjustment. I know.
looks good. Leave that in. Don't mess with my tie. That's my
Rolling still.